Welcome to Trust Factor. He's Tim Hooper. I'm Mike Gandolfo, and we're here to help you discover the winning formula for your business. High touch plus high tech multiplied by high trust. Tim, how's it going today?
It's going, man. Mike, it's good to be back with you in the studio, and it's all about that multiplier.
That's right. It is all about that multiplier. And I'm really excited just for our listeners to kind of realize how this whole concept came about, because you and I, we had a mutual friend who tried to connect us a while ago after she heard me speak, and we connected on social and whatever else, but never really got the time to get to know each other. But then a couple weeks ago in Louisville, Kentucky, you came in. We were both speaking the same event, and we had one of those, what I like to call one of those magical dinners, because like you sit down, you expect it to be there for like an hour or whatever else, and we look up and it's 2.5, 3 hours later of just like nonstop great conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I didn't connect the dots. So the person who hired me to bring me in to speak, she's like, "Oh, you'll love the other speaker. Like, he's awesome." And I'm like, "Cool." So I'm looking at the flight. I'm like logging in. I'm on the plane. Like, well, I'm going to dinner with this guy, so I should So I'm like logging into the link. Like, make sure. How do I say his name? So I'm walking into dinner, and sometimes you put people in boxes, or you get like, okay. So I'm like, I know who I am as a speaker, and it's like very authentic. I'm like, okay, this guy's probably like really, techie and really smart, and like he, you are very techie, you are very smart, but it was not in that way. It was I met you, and within like a minute, it was just immediate, and then we connected it back to that friend from like 3 years ago. I'm like, you're like, you reached out, or she connected us on Facebook or something, and so we put the pieces together, and it was like, again, like you said, magical. So, but yeah, how in 30 seconds, what do you feel like, Mike, in 30 seconds was the thing? Like, I mean, we felt like, I don't know, brothers from another mother within 30 seconds. Like,
I mean, I think both of us, neither one of us really like small talk, right? Like, so like we want to get deep, and we want to get to the point, and we want to like we were both willing to be vulnerable. And you know what? We are different. I think a lot of times in that space, when you're dealing with speakers and presenters, you get people who are maybe, I don't want to typecast anything, but you might have some people that are a little bit more on the guarded side, let's just say. And it's unusual, I guess, to get people to sit down and share ideas. And then we kind of realized, like, in some ways we're brothers from a different mother, and then in some ways we're also kind of like the odd couple, because he's shorter than me with like the perfectly placed hair that's never out of place.
That's right.
I'm here with the scraggly beard and the curly hair going every which way, and I'm dealing with realtors, and you're dealing mostly with lenders and title people, and then really, like, we both embrace the touch and the tech side of things, and we both believe in the power of building high trust, but the way that we do it's a little differently. So I'm way more on the touch side, and I'm dabbling and getting to know the tech side a little bit more. And you've got all these great tech systems and whatever else, but you definitely do not discount the touch side either. So
yeah, exactly. It's interesting because working with mortgage companies and title companies puts me in, I think I spoke for over 400 real estate agents between 6 events, one couple larger, and then 1 or 2 that were smaller just this week. And I hear from agents all the time, we're lost in the tech side a lot of times. We're trying to look for that, I don't want to say easy button, like we want an easy button, but I think we're being sold easy buttons. Like, here's this tech, here's this application, here's this. And we go to a lot of technology conferences. I know real estate agents, when social media was changing to reels, it's like, I got to go learn reels. I got to go learn stories. And so I love that, because you have to communicate in certain mediums in order to stay top of mind and all that. But what I find is, if it's not channeled through like the touch mindset, so if you don't have that focus of, I got to get belly to belly, I want relationships, like at the end of the day the goal is a relationship, then I think we get lost in the tech side instead of letting the touch guide the tech that I use. And so I think this show is going to be really fun, Mike, because some of the points that I made in my talk, and then some of the points you made in your talk, in fact, you say you're high touch or you're mostly touch, but like you were putting up the slides with the hey, punch in this code, and then the whole crowd is like putting words up on the screen, and I was challenged. I was like, wow, this guy knows his tech really really well. So again, you use tech to engage and to get the touch going, so it's just powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the big part of it too. It's like, how do I embrace tech to deepen the engagement, right? And that's really important on my side. And
Yeah.
I look at it like this. I think whether you're high tech, low touch, or you're high touch, low tech, you really are defining by you're playing a different game, right? So like
Yep.
the high tech, low touch person is doing quantity over quality. It's all about acquisition and volume, and they know that they're going to have a 1 in 150 or 1 in 200 conversion rate, and
Yep.
they're really dialed into what their cost per lead is and all that stuff. And it's interesting because we've seen it evolve. You kind of just hit on this a little bit. Like forever, it was like the high tech agent had to be like speed to lead, the quickest you can get to, and the first person that gets to the client's the one who's going to get the business. And now they're kind of figuring out that, oh, you know what, maybe I need to have like that. There's some guardrails going up, and that
Yep.
person wants some personal interaction. And
Yep.
really now we're seeing the data come in that it's more about who has the first meaningful conversation with the client, right? It might be they know that they hit the submit button on the
Yeah.
internet,
Yeah.
and they know they're going to get bombarded, and they kind of ride out that wave, and then they're waiting to see who can kind of have the first meaningful conversation with them, and that's who the person's working with.
I love that you brought up the buyer wall that goes up, because I think when tech first comes out, buyers don't. We haven't built an inoculation, or we haven't been inoculated, right? So it's a new portal or something. We punch in, and then you get the agent calling you got the real estate agent, but then you have like the text agent, and I won't name the tech, but you have like the text agent calling you, and you're like, you're not even the realist. I didn't want you. And so we've built these walls. And I think real estate agents, sometimes we don't put ourselves in the buyer's, like, go put yourself in the buyer's seat, right? It's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. that I'm like using between two jobs I'm holding down. And it's like 2 a.m. I'm scrolling on your, like, looking for a house that we want to maybe move across country. And I like put the message through. I wake up, go to work, and I forgot all the messages I put out there. So now I'm getting bombarded. Like, how are you, out of 12 real estate agents, in that first reach out, elevating yourself to like break through that wall? And I think if we put ourselves in that, it shocks me, man. I ask real estate agents, who has an intro video? By the way, I'm going to close. Talk about high tech. The sunshine's like blowing all my tech. I got to close my curtain real quick. But
Okay.
talk about like, let me ask you this. For a real estate agent, like, how do you break that barrier? Like, we're all in this high tech world of like online and leads and all that. How do you break that down quickly, like within the first interaction?
Well, for me, it's kind of interesting because, again, going back to the idea that we're playing two separate games, the high tech agent is sending out the bombardment of communication with the clients, and they're doing that with hundreds of clients at one time.
Yep.
And they're hoping that as this person's built this castle around them, that they can get something that slides through a window or under the crack of the door and gets responded to, and then you get a client. And the opposite of what we're doing, we're not playing that game on the relational side. Like, now I'm not throwing stuff up against the wall and hoping something slides through a crack. I'm getting invited inside, and I'm getting treated like a member of the family, right?
Yeah, man.
And that also then allows for me to be established as their trusted advisor.
Yep.
So on the touch side, we don't need to have 200 leads to get to one person. It might be more like 50, right? But those other ones that don't work out are just seeds that were planted that could potentially come to harvest later on in our career. It doesn't mean that, hey, we had this one chance and that's it, we're never going to hear from that person again. So I mean, I think it's definitely a completely different mentality. And for years, I think and this is where I think the tech is really interesting right now, because I think for years you had to really be wired to do one or the other. And now the relational agent is learning that they can embrace technology as a
Yeah.
partner, and it can help them be more relational.
Yeah.
We're working on a technology right now that's doing that, for example. And I'm sure there'll be more about that in future episodes.
Yep.
And we also see that the high tech agent is using technology in ways that allow for them to quantify leads so that they can get those deeper conversations.
Yep.
And so the systems are in place to kind of bridge that gap so that you could take advantage of both, because neither side's wrong, right? Like, it's not wrong to be high tech and play the quantity game. It's not wrong to be low touch or high touch and play the quality game and not have as many leads.
Right.
It's all about how you can play both of those in scale. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think playing both of those and that's why it's called the trust factor, is, I think about math and John Maxwell a long time ago. I was down at his conference getting my his coaching certification, and you pay all this money, you go there for like a whole weekend, and you do all this stuff, and it's like 10 years later, you're looking back like, what was that all about? And I'll tell you what it was all about. Like, one main thing that I never forgot that John said, and he said, you can't grow by addition alone. He said it's all about multiplication. And I think that's where I see a lot of leaders get lost. We're looking for that next big recruit. We're looking at your brokerages, looking for those next top agents. And it's like, hey, how do you multiply what you already have? For instance, we're working on this big event, actually, Mike, the event you're coming to speak for. And we're putting this whole thing together. And this year I just said, hey, let this lady in our office handle it. Like, she's capable. She was there last year and it expressed some interest. So I'm like, told the leadership, let her handle. So she's handling. So she called me. She says, hey, so the next video that needs to go out. Now, I've been kind of the guy to get on video to talk about the conference. So it's a lot of my face. And I told her, I said, I want you on this. I want this video come from you. I said, because people are getting tone deaf. Like, it's like, after they hear you enough, it's tone. So I was like, hey, you're on this video. And it's like, what do I say? And so now, is she making other videos for like our endeavors, our marketing endeavors, and whatever? Yes, she is. So in like one moment of coaching on like how to make one video in that coaching moment, she told me, she says, wow, this is actually, I'm not doing that in these other videos I'm making. Like the approach you just took on talking to, like, because I told her, I said, if you're an owner and you're thinking you're just going to send your salespeople, think again. And so right away, we like brought the owner into the conversation as the hero of the story. And then we talked to the owner about, hey, think again, like be in the mindset of being in the room. And like, so I was coaching on challenging an owner, and she's like, Phil, I can't do that. But then it's like, wait a minute, if this is how you bring somebody into the video, like right in that first 3 seconds, then maybe my other videos over here, like maybe I should flip the script a little bit and ask a question first or whatever. So like in, I don't know, 30 minutes of a phone call, delegating and focusing on like, how do you get trust built faster in this in this video, then her touch was all increased, everything. So everything became more what I would call better connect. It has the potential to better connect now. So what do? We stopped. We took a moment to multiply something we already had. And so I think that kind of bring this full circle back to your point is a lot of us have some tech. A lot of us have a lot of tech, and then some of us have like tons of touch, and then some of us have just, we've not touched our database. And if we're honest, we're like, we've not even touched our database effectively over time. It's like, how do you take right now both of those things that you're doing, grow in one or the other, but do it all through this lens of a multiplier of how do I better connect? Like, at the end of the day, it's not about impressing you. It's what did you say in the first 30 seconds? It was like, you said we were able to be vulnerable with each other. Like, yeah. There it is. How do you go right now, lean in? Tim, I don't know how to reach out to my database. How about be vulnerable with it? Like, hey, I know things are like really rocky out there right now. And I know there's a lot of questions about like government shutdown, blah, blah, blah. Like, what if you just leaned in vulnerably? Like, hey, do you have any questions? Like, how are you doing? Like, how are you holding up? What if you just humanly open that instead of looking for that next, tech thing, or like, oh, I don't know how to touch, and you get in your own head and procrastinate. It's like, what if you just thought touch tech, let's multiply this through like better connection, being more human with each other. And I think, Mike, that's to me, if you broke trust down, it's in today's day and age, people are asking this main question, like right now, did AI come up with that? And I
Mhm.
think right now,
Authenticity.
authenticity, vulnerability, being able to be more human than ever before, that's what's going to be your multiplier. And so
It's kind of
we're going
funny
to
because
talk about all of it.
we're seeing that right now with these videos, right? Because the more authentic the video is, the better it's being received. Like when you can tell there's the ums and the uhs, and
Yeah.
we actually talked about that with this podcast. Like we didn't want it to be overproduced. We were going to kind of
Yeah.
record it, and
Yeah.
what it is what's going to get released.
Yeah.
Um, and for that very reason, we want the authenticity. And your story really resonates because I'm assuming that this person who made the video for you, what's her name?
Chanel. She's
Chanel.
incredible,
Is
dude.
she going to be at
Yeah.
the conference?
Yeah. Oh, she's running it.
She's running the
Yeah.
conference,
Yeah.
but she's going to have such a deeper connection now with the attendees, and they're going to come up and they're going to know who she is, and they're going to say hi Chanel and whatever else, and then that bridges the opportunity for the relationship to just kind of flourish. And um and I go back to a quote that I absolutely love from there's an old real estate trainer, Floyd Wickman. He did like Sweat Hogs and all that kind of stuff. And his son Gino, though, has written an amazing book called Traction, and it's about the entrepreneurial operating system. And Gino's quote is, "For you to systemize the predictable, so you can humanize the intentional, or the exceptional, so you can humanize the
Yeah.
exceptional."
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking like that really to me sums up exactly what we're trying to do. We're going to help you embrace the tech systems
Yeah.
so you can have predictable results, but then how do you put that human touch and make it an exceptional experience, right? And really deliver on that. So
So, Mike,
I'm
fun
pumped.
story.
Yeah.
Fun story. I used that quote in a presentation this week.
Did
No
you get it from
kidding.
when I used it, or did you know from
No,
before?
so I've never
Take my
attributed it to
stuff.
the
It's all right.
proper. Well, I
Oh.
know. I think we both have. Like your slides were mine and my slides were yours, and we hadn't
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
even met, which was so
That's right. That's
powerful.
very
That's why
true.
we're doing this.
Yeah.
But I've never attributed the correct person.
Oh.
So one of my buddies told me that. And he said it in passing. I think it had been so ingrained in his head. He's like, systematize the predictable so you can humanize the exceptional. And so I'm like, I put it in my slides with his name on it. It still has his name. I'll show you. It has
Your
his
buddy?
name on it, my buddy. And I don't, it's not like he wasn't trying to attribute to the right person. He just says it so much. It was like it was this thing that stuck. So I put it in the slides. And this week in the room where I was speaking was a large prospect of mine who, that guy, my buddy, is like her marketer.
Uh-huh.
So when I quoted it, she snapshotted a picture, sent it to him like you were just quoted. And then she said, and by the way, I want an introduction to this guy. So he, from my introduces me with this large she's in the room, but she had to slip out, whatever. So I get an introduction in a text message. Talk about, again, full circle here, getting invited in, not throwing stuff on the wall and hoping something sticks, but like getting invited into the door. But now I got to go back to my buddy Michael and be like, dude, like, this is Gino. What did you say it was Gino? Or that was his son?
Gino.
Gino?
Yeah.
Gino? Yeah.
Gino
So,
Wickman.
so anyway, that's crazy, man. That is awesome. And by the way, Mike, one thing that blew me away was the amount of books you read and the amount of the actual like authors and the people who have put these systems in place and these books out, like the masterminds that you've been in. And so, guys, as we're kicking the show off in this pilot episode, there's a lot of people who want to go do a podcast. Like Mike's done it big time. Go look it up. He doesn't like to gloat about any of it, but he's done podcasting big time in sports channels. And so I want you guys to know this guy is what I found in the first couple of minutes at that dinner was he's the real deal. He knows his stuff. He doesn't flaunt it, but he shows up and coaches his agents, number one, and is a go-giver on stage and sending his slides out and like whatever it takes to help you be successful. I'm here for you, like the real deal. So, that's who I'm interested in working with is our people who at the end of the day, their families love them. Their kids love them. Like you were flying out, right? Actually, you were flying out with me in the same airport to go be with your kid at a big game at their
No,
college.
yeah, it
And
was Parents
so
Weekend at High Point,
or
yeah.
parents weekend. Okay. So parents weekend. And I was just like, with kids that are a little younger than yours, I'm like, model the master. Somebody told me along, model the masters, model the masters. So look in somebody's life for what you see is they're doing well, that you would like to do well, and like get around them. So you've been an abundant source to me. I'm excited for where the show goes and grows, and just doing it together, man. At the end of the day, here we are early Saturday morning before the sun's up saying, let's grow together. So
Let's do it.
guys, join us.
I love it. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up right here. So that's all the time we have for this episode of Trust Factor. Remember, I'm Mike Gandolfo. He's Tim Hooper, and we are the foundation of your business for high tech, high touch, and multiplying it by high trust.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Please subscribe, follow wherever you get your podcasts, and we will see you next time.